Hello everybody, it's me, and I am here today with my Green Goblin costume. Now, if you haven't heard of me, you probably haven't, since this is my first video, but since you probably haven't unless you're watching this in the distant future, then my costume videos are going to be tutorial videos and process videos, but this costume, I'm making an exception, just letting you know, because this costume didn't really have much of a tutorial to really show. So this is one exception to my rule of making process videos. So if you just want process videos, not really showcases, then you can still subscribe. This is just one small exception to my rule. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into the costume. So as you can see, it's a Green Goblin costume. This thing I actually made with a carnival mask here. Oh, hello, Genie. My kitten there. So this is actually a carnival mask that I wrapped in my green spandex fabric. It's the same green spandex fabric I used to make this bodysuit. So then I wrapped it in that, and then this piece here is just a extension piece that I made out of some cereal box cardboard. And then it has the same process I did with wrapping it with the green spandex fabric to make it the same exact color. I did the same thing as the little chin piece for the ears, and then that's basically the entire armor part of it. So then the rest of the mask is just a black spandex mask that I sewed up with my sewing machine right there. But then this hat I made using some old flannel lining that I had to make a pattern, and then after I was happy with it, I cut it out onto this purple fabric. And then if you can see here, got some little stitch marks, fake little leather cuts there to sort of amplify it all ruggedy, worn, and not really a brand new looking costume. So, okay, I've got to start doing this tutorial video faster. This costume's really hot. So then, anyways, moving on down, going a little bit further down, I have this. This is a leather bag that I made, and then you can just reach down into it. Got a little pumpkin here that I spray painted, and then it's got a built-in LED. Don't know if you can really see that. Then that's really it for the bag. It's just made of the same leather that I've been using for all this little fake stitch marks, and yeah, so that's pretty much it for the bag. And then moving on down a little bit more, I have this code word for poncho, I guess, something to go over the main part of it, I guess, of the costume. So then it's just a purple big square folded to be like a triangle. Then I cut out the neck hole, and then after I was satisfied with how big it was, I just tattered it up a ton with the scissors, and I'm gonna take a lighter to it at some places and just burn it a little bit just to make it look more realistic. And then a few places there, the same little stitch thingy that popped up. Same little stitch pattern thing like I was doing with the mask. And then moving on down to this one. This is just orange, slightly bigger than that one. I just traced it onto the orange fabric, just leaving a little bit of excess, and then I tattered it up. Of course, I did this. I traced it out before I cut that one up. So then I just tattered it up the same, but not at all at the center and all that. So then all the holes that are in that one you'll see orange through them. And then no fake stitch marks. But then as you can see here, I have little pieces of cardboard there, because then that will give me big, beefy shoulders to look kind of intimidating and not just have them flopping down. So then, moving on here, I have this little breastplate here. It's really just for background if I'm taking that stuff off. It's not truly necessary, but I think it's pretty cool. Gives some armoring, can resist nerve bullets, stuff like that. I made this with a old belt of mine that I don't really wear anymore. And then the rest of it is just some cardboard that I wrapped with some different brown fabric. Now, you're not going to want to wrap it with leather, or else it's going to match the belt too well, especially if you use the brown side. But anyways, I have this fabric thing here, which is just some purple fabric I wrapped around gave some leather to put an end cuff on it, and then I just sewed on some Velcro. But if you don't have a sewing machine, you could probably hot glue some of it, but you're probably going to be needing a sewing machine for some parts of it, so you might want to have one of those on hand. And then here, for the other hand, I have this gauntlet. It's just cardboard wrapped in duct tape. You may have just noticed that. And it's got some little side blades, sort of taken off after the the original Spider-Man 3. Harry Osborn had something like this. So I'm taking a lot of inspiration, just merging the Goblin from the 90s cartoon and the one from the first Sam Raimi movie, the third Sam Raimi movie, just merging a bunch of them to make a cool Goblin costume. Now these are just some black winter gloves. Then I cut off the fingers so that I want it stick to the Velcro when I'm putting on the gauntlets. So that's really all it is for the gloves. But then moving on, I have this. It's this cool little jacket thing. Purple jacket to sort of cover up the green bodysuit I have under it. But then this is just a little flange piece that I made out of some more leather, Velcro, and some orange fabric. Just tattered it up. And then sort of just adds a little bit of extra detail than just having this. So then I can take off this purple jacket thing, and then you can just see the green bodysuit underneath. Now this piece, this black piece, is not necessary whatsoever. But when I was sewing it, I sort of caught onto it and it started to fray out a little bit at some places. So then I just had to cover it up. I didn't feel like wasting a bunch of my other green fabric to make another section of that bodysuit. So then I just covered it up with this. It's just made from the Cricut machine that I have. It's just this little cutting machine. You may have heard of it, but you could, if it does happen to you, you could just cover it up, make a different thing. You probably won't end up having this, but just letting you know that's what I had to do. Then sitting down, here are my boots. As you can see, they are really just some canvas shoes meant for customizing that I found at Joann's. So they're really useful, really, really cheap. So then basically I just made giant socks to put over them, and then I left some toe excess and then stuffed it up. So then it sort of gives it this little pointy jester boot, clown boot sort of look. I don't know how to describe it. So then I have a zipper in there, so then you can easily pull it off. Now the zipper is really just for putting it on, because as you can see I can just pull off the boot without putting on the zipper. But then it's hard to put on without the zipper, so then that's just about it. And then I have the background bodysuit. That's really basically it. This is just the last piece of the costume. The bodysuit I made, I just sewed it up from some green spandex fabric, added in an invisible zipper at the back. So yeah, that's basically it for the costume. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will say this one more time. This is not my usual video process. I will do process videos almost all the time. This is just my one small exception since there wasn't much of a process to show. But anyways, if you all did enjoy, please leave a like. That would be greatly appreciated. And then also, if you are still into cosplay and you want process videos, you can go on ahead and subscribe. It really, really helps me out. And then if you know anyone else who does cosplays, you could even share it to them. So just leave a comment for what other costumes I should make, and I'll see you in the next video.